Welcome back to Minecraft. Today, let's make an easy mob farm that allows you to make as little as one layer, but if you want, it can be expanded to a colossal beast that makes over 26,000 items per hour. Not to mention, it'll work on both Bedrock and Java, but be careful, do not build your farm in a mushroom biome, as no hostile mobs can spawn there. And if you're on Bedrock, do not build in a river biome, as only drowns can spawn in the vicinity. To start off, head over to a nice flat area, or better yet, head over to the ocean and start your build there. This will help decrease the amount of other terrain that's loaded in so that it increases the chances of mob spawning on our platforms. Due to mob spawning differences, on Java, we'll start our build 1 block above the surface or the ocean, and on Bedrock, start your build 144 blocks above the surface. Either way, make a little 3x3 here, and then we'll take out some chests and plop them down on the side, like so. You could add more storage later on if you wanted, and we'll place a group of 3x3 hoppers all headed into those chests. Now, depending on whether you're using Soulfire campfires or regular campfires, you'll place those down on top of the hoppers. Soulfire campfires are a little bit better, they kill slightly faster, but if you only have regular campfires, that's fine too. And later on, you could always swap them out if you wanted to increase the efficiency. Anyway, come back over to the front here, and we'll place some stairs down just on top of the 3 chests here, so that we can still open the chests and the items do not splatter everywhere outside of the hopper range. Then we'll add some full blocks all around the sides of the campfires here, which are obviously also just to prevent the items from splattering. Then hop up and place magma blocks just above the rim that we just made. If you're not using magma blocks, you don't have to, but it does increase the efficiency to use at least 12 just around the ring here. Either way, you'll have a nice 5x5 ring with a 3x3 hole in the center. Off of each middle block, build 7 blocks in each direction. This will end up being the platform that pushes the mobs down into our killing chamber. If you're building many platforms, you can marginally improve the production rates by making this entire platform magma blocks. It should end up looking like a plus, like so, and then we will cap it off with 5 wide bits on each end. If you did want to make this whole platform out of magma blocks, you can get magma from either the bottom of the ocean, water caves, or the nether. And once you have all that, we will connect it diagonally. Once you have all the flat sides connected up, go ahead and start filling in the center. Now come over to the edge and raise every block along the diagonal by 1, leaving a 3 wide gap along the flat edges, and repeating for all 4 sides. Having the blocks raised like this prevents our eventual water sources from connecting and making one giant lake. Now come to one of the flat sides and crouch off the edge and place a slab. And what we're going to do is place slabs all around the perimeter on the lower half of that raised block we just placed. These will prevent the water sources from spilling out onto either the land or the ocean, depending on where you built it. Once you're done with that, place a couple of water sources down in the 3 wide gap like so that it makes an infinite source in the middle. And you can use that to place water sources all along the diagonal edges. And then once you get to another 3x3 thing, make another infinite source there so you can use that all along the next edge. Once you've added water sources all the way around the edges on the higher and the 3 wide gaps, we'll come to the center and build up 3 using some temporary blocks, and we'll just place a permanent slab on the upper half of the block directly in the center of the farm. And we'll place a comparator on that with a temporary block on the back side. It might be tricky to aim your cursor off of the comparator, so just use the temporary blocks however you need. Place a hopper facing into the temporary block, break it out, and place another hopper facing into the one we just placed. Then place a building block just in front of the comparator here, and then put a torch on the far side of the block. Now we're going to connect the signal from torch to the hopper. So place a slab off here, and a redstone dust on top of it. Building block beside the hopper, and now the redstone dust locks the comparator, and then if we put a dust on top of the block, it'll lock the hopper as well. Now if we come back over here, we can place a full block beside this hopper, and a slab under beside the temporary block, and if we put a dust on top of that, when the comparator we placed gets powered, it will unlock itself and lock the other hopper. Now follow along as we place this ring of slabs. It's very important that they are placed at this spacing. Otherwise, the redstone dust that we place on these may connect to our other redstone circuits, which we do not want. And bring the slabs over this way. And then we will place a temporary block underneath the hopper and a slab coming off of that so that we can place a comparator coming out of that hopper as well. Then place a building block on the side of the comparator with a torch on the same side as you. And then we can break out all the temporary blocks. And just bring redstone dust on top of all the slabs we placed so that it goes into the block over here. And just so no mobs spawn, let's place slabs on top of these 3 building blocks. And now to get the timer started, place 26 filler blocks into this hopper here. And now place an observer facing into the comparator that's dead center of the farm, and a dispenser on top of that. Now build off 7 in each direction from the dispenser at the same height. This will be our first spawning platform. Once you built out 7 in each direction, just go ahead and fill it in so that it makes a nice diamond shape. Once your shape is filled in, head on to the center and add a water bucket into your dispenser, and then put a slab on top of it, block on the side, and if you're going to add a second level, you need to add an observer facing into the slab so that it can detect when the water is released. If you don't care to build a second or more layers, then go ahead and move on to the roof building section. Now place a dispenser facing up above the observer, and repeat the same 7 by 7 cross and fill it in. The only difference on this level is that we need to stagger the water from the first level. You'll just come to the edge here and look down, and once you see water is flowing out onto the edges of the first platform, you run over to the center, add the water bucket, add the slab, and you can continue on to the next layer. The reason why we're staggering the water so that they come out at alternate times is so that there's always blocks at every tick that can be spawnable for mobs. If we were to have the water come out at the same time, there could be multiple ticks in which there is no spawnable locations for mobs to actually appear. Now you just repeat this process for however many layers you want. The maximum number of layers you can have on Bedrock Simulation 4 distance is 6 layers, and for Bedrock Simulation distance 6 and up, so that's 6 through 12, as well as Java, you can have up to 34 spawnable layers for a single farm. Something important to note for having multiple layers is to ensure that there are slabs placed above each dispenser at each level. Otherwise, the water, when it is being removed, can flow back underneath the observer, and the observer for the level above can be procced multiple times, so the water above will not flow correctly. For this demonstration, I chose to do a farm with 5 levels. Once you get to the top layer of whatever amount of levels you've chosen are, for me that's obviously the 5th layer, you will need to once again place a slab over the dispenser after you've added a water bucket, of course, and jump up, and instead of an observer, you'll place a full block and another full block on top of that. And from there, we will build out 14 blocks in each direction in the same cross pattern we've done so far. And once again, connecting the tips of each cross with a diagonal pattern like so. And we will fill that in as a diamond shape. That will keep all of the levels shaded effectively so that all of the blocks we've already placed become spawnable. And just so no mobs spawn up here, let's place 4 torches down, roughly 5 blocks away from each of the points or the edges. To finish off the basic farm, all you need to do now is make an AFK platform. That will be at different locations depending on your version. So for Bedrock, the ideal location to AFK is 16 blocks below your chests. And for Java, the ideal location to AFK at is 128 blocks above the Y level of your chest. As for how you should effectively get up there, I suggest you either use scaffolding, ladders, water elevator, or even another portal. Make sure to add a little roof or something over top of you so that phantoms can't kill you while you're AFK. You can also, to make the farm more aesthetic, surround it in any kind of build you'd want, as long as everything's well lit up. Like I did here on this world, I created a little mushroom that has a 1-layer mob farm inside. If you found this video helpful, it's appreciated if you gave it a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing. I also have all my other tutorials linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.